Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just for Today. This is a program dealing with the issues of Alcoholics Anonymous, dealing with the fact that, how difficult it is to stay sober every single day, day after day, through the issues, about the issues, over the issues, anything that comes down the way. We want to know what's going on in your life today. I think that this program is going to help you to stay in the moment, stay in the day, focus on what you need to focus on, and forget about taking a drink just for today. You think we can do that? I think we can. Sometimes we even have to take it minute by minute. Something comes around the corner, your boss comes over and, not literally, but figuratively pokes you in the eye. Boop! Right in the eye. And you know what? You got to go, okay, it's just one of those things. This is just a test. This is just something that's going to, make me a little bit stronger. And the things that, when your wife tells you, how much you suck again today, you're like, oh, thanks, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to tell me how much I suck when I know that already. Thank you. But that's what they do. See, people do that stuff, and you have to be able to say, what the hell? You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you other than, there are many, many ways to stay sober. And there's only one way to get drunk, and that's by picking up a drink. So the reason that you're hearing my voice is this, is that apparently somewhere along the line something has happened to you, or many times, and you seem to end up in that crappy place, that rotten place within your mind, where you just say, it ain't going to happen for me. Life isn't going to happen for me, so I'm just going to get blottoed. I'm just going to get so stiff that I wet the bed and get arrested and act like a total ass, so no one ever wants you to come around again. Then you can just climb into your little hole, pull the, whatever's around and just, sink down like some kind of Alabama tick. And, it's no way to live your life. There's other things that you can do. Just think about the possibilities that your life might have if you don't drink today. And what's the worst thing that's going to happen to you if you don't take a drink today? I don't imagine it would be very much of anything. I know there's those certain people that, see, I'm pegged here. Why am I pegged? I don't want to be pegged. I'm completely and utterly pegged. That's the way I look at it. So, they just want me to keep talking and stuff, so that's what I'm going to do. Let me start by telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Dan Sullivan, and I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in Massachusetts in a dry town, and it's funny that I ended up a screaming alcoholic. I just, I don't know any other way to put it. You know what I mean? Whether it runs in the family, whether it's, genetic or you're predisposed or whatever it is, I don't know, but maybe I just had the right flavor for it. I didn't, I remember drinking for the first time, and it was like, I don't know how to explain it to you. It was like it was the best thing that I had ever come across in my life. And I didn't know at the time that feeling I got of, yeah, baby. You know what I'm talking about. Use out there like me. I know what it feels like to say, yeah, baby, to Al, old alcohol. He says to you, I got your back, buddy. I got you right here. I got you over here. And don't worry about it. That girl, I'm gonna loosen that tongue for you and make you Mr. Suavo, and and then you walk all the way over there and you spit on her because you're so damn stiff that you don't even know how stiff you really are. Well, the funny thing about alcohol is that it fools you. It tells you that it's your pal, and then by the time you realize that it's your mortal enemy, many, many things have gone wrong in your life. Many things have gone south on you, like it did for me. I didn't lose all that much, but I lost enough. Dignity, respect, self-worth, things like, having relationships with people and, having, not having your father look at you like, I'd rather look at the neighbor's dog's turd than you right now. So I know how that feels because I am a drunk. But 16 years ago, something bashed me in the head for the 100th time, but this time I listened. And I had decided that I had had enough and that whatever the rest of my life was going to be like, I couldn't do this anymore. Meaning, I could not pretend that I didn't have a drinking problem. I couldn't pretend anymore that, my life was okay and that everybody else was wrong except for me. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, I introduced myself as Dan Sullivan before, but, my real name, my name is alcohol and Dan is my problem. And that's basically what it is. It's like, oil and water don't mix, antifreeze and oil don't mix. Well, alcohol and Dan don't mix. And that's just something that I had to get used to. That's something that, day after day of going to meetings and saying, the first thing I said was, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do for the rest of my life? And it wasn't even like that. It was like it was like I had to learn something else other than, oh, it's Friday, time to sink 24 beers and wet the bed again. Well, you get sick of waking up doing the backstroke. You get sick of, going, oh, man, I remember till like 10:30, and then after that, anything could have happened. And you know what? It could have been. You know what I mean? I would say, I'm not getting drunk tonight. I'm just going to have a couple of beers. And those were the worst nights, is because I ended up 3 times as blottoed, twice as fast, for whatever reason. It's just that I couldn't stop. I couldn't say no. I couldn't, once I got to a certain point, it was like, you're over the ridge and it's getting a little slippery, and zippo, you're down into Hammerland. And you know what? And I got sick of waking up crying, going, I can't believe I bloody did it again, because I'm stupid. That's why we do these things, because we are stupid. And it's okay to be stupid, but you know what? You don't need to drink. So I'm telling you that you don't need to drink. So I mentioned the 16 years. So I finally said, it doesn't matter what I do Friday night anymore, because I'm going to a meeting. And it's Wednesday, and I'm already looking forward to Friday's meeting, because I started to go. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know anything that anybody was talking about. And I just started to say, there's something here, because somebody told me when I first started going to AA is that, if you hang around long enough, sooner or later, someone's going to tell your story. And you know what? They told my story, the people that get up at these meetings and they speak about things that they did and troubles that they got in. And they talked about things like, I just got sick of being a loser, and it's not, I don't mean it like, people who drink are losers. It's not like that. People who drink normally don't have to hear what I have to say and probably don't understand what I'm talking about. But those of you who are out there listening to this right now know what it is. Okay? You know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you that I know how you feel. I know that bottom of the barrel, the slime on the bottom of somebody's shoe, and I just can't live like this anymore. Well, I'm sorry, but this is where you belong, and it's okay to be here, because there's a lot of us here. In the land of sobriety, here we are. So I just want you to sit back and listen to what I have to say, and, if you feel like interacting, we can always give you information about how we can talk to you, help you to find meetings, help you to, help you to do whatever it is that you need to do to stay sober for just one day, because I'm about to celebrate 16 years of sobriety. I didn't think 16 minutes was achievable, or 16 days, but it's 16 years later, but I only really have today. And that's the message that I want to send out to you, basically, is that all you have to do is stay sober today. You can say to yourself, you know what, tomorrow seems like a really good day to get blasted, but you know what, today I'm not going to do that. And then you get up and it'll be a new today, and then you can say it again. And don't think about tomorrow and put your past behind you. Don't think about yesterday, because as they say, if you keep one foot on yesterday and one on tomorrow, you piss on today. And we don't need any more pissing. Take my word for it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say is that I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a professional anything other than a professional drunk. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is I'm not some know-it-all. I'm just a guy who has, by the grace of God, has been given his life back. You know, whatever life that is, I have it back. And I have the ability now to come on here and talk to you people about staying sober for just one day. And then one day in the not too distant future, you'll start to get a real good grip on the principles that we're going to go over in this show. And I hope that they stay with you, and I hope that you can grasp what I'm talking about. And if not, we'll keep coming back and try to tell you again. So sit back, and I'll do the best I can to be your AA buddy or your daily sponsor. You can't get to a meeting, you know, and you have access to the web. Click on and just sit there and listen. You know, we're going to have people on, and we'll have experts and people who write books, and it should be fun, and it should, be a great source of fellowship for you. And if this is something that you're interested in, please bookmark this URL and come and see us, because I'm hoping that we're not going to go away, and we'll be that voice that you need. Even if it's the darkest moment, even if you're blasted out of your mind, just give us a listen, and we'll do whatever we can to help you. So we'll be back.